Welcome back to TheFantasyBlogger. Today I'm going to give you two of my super sleepers. And I hesitate to use the term super sleepers because so many people track everything right now. So there's really not too many players that fall into the unknown. But um, I guess these guys aren't your traditional sleepers, and they're a little more risky. So I'm going to call them super sleepers. Okay, first one is Patrick Creighton. Uh, I really like Creighton this year. He had 697 yards and 7 touchdowns last year, so basically a 707 guy. And this year he is for sure the number 2 wide receiver behind Terrell Owens. And there's also Jason Witten at tight end, and then there's Marion Barber getting carries um, in the backfield, as well as Tony Romo throwing the ball. So they've got a great offense, um, and he figures to have lots of space and room to operate. And I think Creighton, I think you can improve him a touchdown and another 150 yards. Last year with his 707, that's without having a catch in 2 games. So I mean, he's obviously capable of putting up decent numbers. He had 184 and 2 in 1 game against St. Louis. So he's currently being drafted in the 9th round. With those numbers, with the number I projected him, he's a good pick there. And I think there's even room for a little more yards. He's a good receiver. He has the nose for the end zone, and Tony Romo throwing to him. He's not going to get too many red zone throws because that's Terrell Owens and Jason Witten territory, uh, as well as Marion Barber in up close. But he's still good for long catches and yards after the catch. So I like Patrick Creighton. In the 9th round, if he's available, I'm going to go ahead and take him. I think he's a good value, and you'll be happy with him. My other pick is Lamont Jordan. Lamont Jordan, uh, if you joined fantasy football recently, you may not have, or 2 years ago, 1 year ago, you may not remember. Lamont Jordan was actually a fantasy football stud on Oakland. He had 11 total touchdowns, along with I think it was almost 1,600 total yards. Uh, so he's obviously capable of putting up numbers. Now the problem is he's in a crowded backfield. Lawrence Maroney is the starter. There's Sammy Morris, he's pretty damn good, and then there's Kevin Falk also receiving out of the backfield. So there's a lot of competition, but I like the New England offense, and I think Lamont Jordan is a late 13th rounder right now. If injuries come up, Lamont Jordan is more than capable, and he will do well with the running room he has in New England. I also think that they'll use him to run the ball in. I think they'll get away from the whole Kyle Eckel thing, who is actually a fullback, I believe. I think Kyle Eckel's a fullback, and I think they'll get away from him, and less of the Vrabel touchdowns up from 1 yard, and more up close running touchdowns from Lamont Jordan. And Lamont Jordan's also an excellent receiver, so I think there's a chance that Bill Belichick just falls in love with what he can do, and starts to utilize him more. And Bill Belichick's like that. He if he wants to go one way, he's gonna go it. And I think he might start liking Lamont Jordan and some of the things he can do. He's a power back. He's got a quick burst, but he's not. He's definitely not speedy, but he can move defenders and gain those tough yards. And I think New England's going to run the ball more this year. And I mean, certainly if you draft Lawrence Maroney, you want to get Lamont Jordan. Um, Sammy Morris is the X factor. I'm not sure what's going to become of Sammy Morris. Sammy Morris is a good back, so that's why Lamont Jordan's not going to move too much further up in the draft. But hey, basically round 14, you can do a lot worse than uh, you know, Lamont Jordan, who's got a lot of potential in New England. This is TheFantasyBlogger.com.